Welcome into Steelers Talk by Chat Sports. I'm Megan Payton. It's officially week 17, and the Steelers are taking on the Browns on Monday Night Football. If you think that the Steelers are going to win, if you want them to win, do not jinx it. Go ahead, like this video. We are talking Steelers injuries, COVID, Big Ben, a lot going on in Pittsburgh. So the Steelers need to win this game against the Cleveland Browns if they want to keep their playoff hopes alive. Right now, Browns are favorites in this game, but I do think that Steelers are going to come ready to go. Obviously, the news of the week, though, has been regarding Big Ben. He is saying that all signs are pointing to this being his last home game of his career, that is at least regular season. If they do come up winning the AFC North, then Steelers could have another home playoff game. But before we talk about Big Ben replacements, there's going to be plenty of those videos to come. I think in respect to him, we should just discuss all the accomplishments that he has had in his career. Big Ben won 163 games, 8 division titles, 3 AFC championships, and 2 Super Bowls. He's a 6-time Pro Bowler in the 18 years he has spent in Pittsburgh. And also he was named AP Offensive Rookie of the Year in 2004. So you can say what you want about Ben Roethlisberger, but he has obviously been a huge impact on this Pittsburgh Steelers organization. So if you guys are proud of Big Ben and you are thankful for everything that he has done for the Steelers team right now, go ahead and type "Thank you, Big Ben" in the comments. This is the pinned comment for today's show. So if you get the ad break here, go give some love to Big Ben. This might be the last time we see him at Heinz Field. Now, Myles Garrett, who he has gone up against many times in his career, was asked about Ben Roethlisberger, and he said, as far as a quarterback, he is one of the greats. He is one of the best Steelers quarterbacks that they have ever had, and he might be the best. Just going back and forth with him has been fun over the years. So that leads me to think about, is Big Ben the best quarterback in Steelers history? He has played in 247 games. That is the most of any Steelers quarterback. He has had 176 wins. Again, the most in Steelers history. He wins in passing yards at 63,721 yards and passing touchdowns at 416. So I think the only person that you could argue with would be Terry Bradshaw. But if you look at Big Ben's stats, he's played more games, so he's obviously won more games. I think that it's definitely debatable, but either way, he's definitely in the top 2. So I will ask you guys this. Is Big Ben the best Steelers quarterback in history? Go to the comments right now. Type Y for yes if you think so, or type N for no. Now, Myles Garrett does think that he's going to have one last mark on Big Ben before he leaves Heinz Field. He said, I will just try to keep it cordial and send him off with a bang. Of course, Myles Garrett has had his fair share of hits against Big Ben over the years. Now, this is going to depend a lot on this offensive line. This offensive line has struggled this year. We've talked about it a lot, and obviously we can expect some changes during the offseason. The latest news, though, Zach Banner on the COVID-19 list, hoping that he'll be able to clear for Monday, though I do think that could be more unlikely than we think. So we are going to need to see guys like Chukuma Okorafor, John LeGlue, Dan Moore Jr. These guys are going to need to step up. Another thing to note is Kendrick Green went out last week with a calf injury. So we'll talk about this more later in the video, but we will see if J.C. Hassenauer or Kendrick Green is going to be starting against the Cleveland Browns. But if you're confident or not in them, it doesn't matter because they need to be ready to play. This offensive line, in my opinion, is going to determine the outcome of this Browns game. It is what factors into Najee Harris being able to run the way he does. It's going to factor into whether or not Ben Roethlisberger can get the ball out of his hands. This offensive line has to play well. We don't need them many more games, but we need them to do well on Monday night. So my question for you guys is, how will the Steelers offensive line play on Monday? Do you think that they are going to play better or worse? Type B for better, or go to the comments and type W for worse. Now, the Steelers will be officially eliminated from the playoffs if they lose in week 17. And as we've said before, there's a couple different paths for the Steelers to get to the playoffs. We did a video on that. We are going to be talking about the rooting guide for week 17, but clearly it starts with the Pittsburgh Steelers beating the Browns. Right now, Browns are favorites at -3.5. The over-under is set at 41.5. I'm telling you now, Steelers are going to beat the spread. This is the time for you to bet. So if you guys are going to bet at all, go and check out a great deal going on over at BetUS. If you go to chatsports.com/bet, you can get a 125% deposit bonus. That means you put up $100, it'll turn into 225. Now you've got free money. Bet on whatever you'd like. I'd say bet on this game, but my opinion doesn't matter. You can bet on any game in the NFL or any sport for that matter. I do think Steelers will beat this spread. I think that there's a lot at stake. It's not only their season at stake, but as we keep on saying, it's Ben Roethlisberger's last game at Heinz Field. He would like to go out with a big win, make the playoffs. It's clearly everyone's goal here in Pittsburgh. I do think that they will be able to come up on top against the Browns. Now, unfortunately, they are still dealing with injuries and they're still dealing with COVID-19 issues. The latest injury update we have for you guys is Buddy Johnson. He is out with that foot injury. Pressley Harvin is questionable. If you do not know, we are obviously sending our love out to Pressley Harvin, who just lost his father last week. He did not play in week 16. We are not sure about what he is going to do in week 17, but all of our thoughts are with him and his family. Kendrick Green, we talked about, he went out last week with that calf injury. Unsure whether or not he will be 100% for this game, but I mentioned this in a video previously saying, I honestly think the Steelers should try and roll with J.C. Hassenauer for this Week 17 game. Kendrick Green has struggled this season, a lot of high snaps, a lot of issues, obviously, with this offensive line in general. I'd like to see Pittsburgh switch things up, roll with J.C., see how it goes. Obviously, if Green is healthy, maybe you could switch him back in if J.C. is not performing well, but that's my take on the offensive line situation. We're going to move on to COVID-19 issues. Clearly, it has been a struggle for the NFL as a whole. Steelers did get some guys back right now on their list. They've got Arthur Maulet, cornerback, Devin Bush, Zach Banner. These are the three guys that are still on the list, as well as Chris Wormley, Joe Schobert, and Anthony McFarland. I'd say Wormley and Schobert are the two guys that I'm most concerned about as we look ahead to this Cleveland game. Those are the two guys I'd want Pittsburgh to get back the most. But of course, now I'm asking you guys, who do you think is most important for the Steelers to get back in order to beat the Browns? Go ahead, let me know. I'm going to stick with Schobert or Wormley. Now, good thing for the Steelers is the Browns, they aren't doing too well on the injury side of things as well. They did clear up a lot of COVID-19 cases, but both of the Browns' starting safeties are out, officially ruled out for this Week 17. Now, the guy we all want to know about is Kareem Hunt. Latest update on him is that he is questionable for this game. I think that'll make a big difference on this Steelers Week 17 game if Kareem Hunt is not playing. All right, we do want to ask you guys this. We're doing this around here at Chat Sports. If you guys are likely to recommend us to a Steelers fan, let us know in the comments. How likely are you to recommend our page to your Steelers fans' friends? Go to the comments right now. Scale this 1 to 10. If you are going to recommend us to everyone you know, you can go ahead and give it a 10. Or if you're saying you don't really like our channel, you can go ahead and give it a 1. All right, as I said, we are talking about the Week 17 rooting guide. This is, if you're a Steelers fan, who you should be rooting for and against in Week 17. So we've talked about it in our playoff picture, but you are clearly rooting for the Chiefs over the Bengals. We need the Bengals to lose out if the Steelers are going to win the AFC North. A couple of these don't matter as much, but we put in all of the people that you guys should be rooting against. Colts over the Raiders. Root for the Colts. We want the Raiders to lose at least one game. Then we are going to want the Raiders to win in Week 18. Jaguars over the Patriots. Tight, except for the Patriots right now are absolutely crushing the Jaguars. So we'll keep you guys updated on these scores. Titans over Dolphins, Rams over Ravens, Falcons over Bills, and lastly, Broncos over Chargers. Now, if you guys missed our playoff path video, I'll put it in the comments and in the descriptions, but we talk about the different ways in which Pittsburgh can make it to the postseason. There's a couple clearer routes than others. If they want to win the AFC North, they need the Bengals to lose both games, and they need to win both of their games. And then there's a couple different routes for them to get a wild card spot. But this is why you guys subscribe to Steelers Talk, so you don't miss out on any of our videos. If you have not subscribed, go to youtube.com/Steelers TV, press the big red button, whatever is easiest for you, but do not miss out on any Steelers content.